Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast brought to you by our friends over at Briar Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether that's auto, homeowners, flood boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com, or you can give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. It is a Sunday edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Not a Sunday game day show because the Bucs played yesterday, but we're here to talk about how the Bucs have been eliminated from playoff contention as the Falcons defeated the Saints 19-17 today. Tampa Bay needed the Saints to win or the game to end in a tie for the Bucs to win the NFC South. That did not happen. So the Bucs are eliminated from the postseason. It ends the longest streak in the NFC, 4 consecutive seasons making the playoffs, dating back to when the Bucs won the Super Bowl in 2020. Dave Canales and the Panthers are the NFC South Division champions, and there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the offseason of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So even though the Bucs won yesterday, it doesn't feel like a victory Sunday with the Bucs eliminated from the postseason. I'm Matt Matera. That's Scott Reynolds. Scott, it's finally over.
It is. It is finally over, as I said in my 2-point conversion column. If you haven't had a chance to read it, there's a couple things that are maybe dated in there, but it's still, I think, got some pretty good information and nuggets in there. I'll drop that in the chat. You can read that at your leisure. But one thing, as I said, was when it's all said and done, this was the 50th season of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? And I think when it's all said and done, because of the disappointment from this particular season, the best thing about it was the docuseries, the Raise the Flags docuseries. That really was the best thing about this season. I mean, an absolutely fantastic start. Think about this. We were talking about the Buccaneers being atop NFL power rankings. We were talking about Baker Mayfield possibly being an NFL MVP candidate. Todd Bowles at 6-2, 5-1, and then 6-2 was in the running for maybe the NFL Head Coach of the Year honors. We had Bruce Arians on this show talking about that during the Bucs bye week. Emeka Egbuka looked like an early lock for NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. He didn't even finish with 1,000 yards. He didn't even have 300 yards receiving total in the last 8 games of the year. So a season that had a lot of promise, just completely evaporated, disintegrated, collapsed down the stretch. Yeah, they won yesterday, 16-14. At the end, it didn't matter. 8-9 meant you just tied the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons, and you didn't win the division. Matter of fact, these are the last 5 games played and how those two teams, or how all of these teams finished. Panthers were 2-3. They're the division champs. The Bucs came in second place. They are 1-4 in the last 5 games. And, of course, the Falcons and Saints ended up playing the best football down the last stretch. And the Falcons finishing in third place due to the tiebreaker here. The Saints really just one game out. But Carolina Panthers win the division with a losing record, the second time that's happened in the NFC South in the last couple of years, really. Todd Bowles' first season in 2022. Yeah. The Bucs won the division with a 8-9 record as well. So that's a look at the division, how it shakes out right there. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have the benefit of that fourth place schedule. The teams that they'll have to face, I think, will be, depending on maybe an outcome or two, they're going to have to play the Kansas City Chiefs rather than the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to have to play the Washington Commanders instead of the New York Giants. And they're going to have to play, who is the other team that they're going to face? They're going to have to play the San Francisco 49ers, possibly, or the Rams. rather than the Arizona Cardinals next year. So the Saints, they got the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Raiders on their schedule. Look out for the Saints next year, man. We thought they'd be down for a while. Tyler Shuck looks like he's the real deal at quarterback. They gave Atlanta all they could handle. This is going to be a rough and tumble NFC South next year, I think. No clear-cut favorite, obviously. Look at these teams here. But the biggest question as it turns now is Todd Bowles safe? Is he going to get fired? Will he retire? I think we're going to know the answer by tomorrow. There's been a lot of NFL insiders, including Adam Schefter, who reported that the Glazers don't want to fire Todd Bowles. Now, he didn't say Todd Bowles is not going to be fired. He said the Glazers, the ownership, does not want to fire Todd Bowles, which tells me there are some things afoot. I do believe that Jason Light and or the Glazers will be leading the charge for Todd. If you're going to stay, we have to make some serious changes to your coaching staff, especially on your side of the ball, the defensive side. What happens if Todd Bowles is forced to cut the likes of Larry Foote, Kevin Ross, Nick Rapone, guys he's coached with dating back to his Arizona days with Bruce Arians, the first go-around, guys that he's won a Super Bowl with here. Nick Rapone's going to be 70 years old this year. He was the Bulls head coach not head coach, but position coach, safeties coach at Temple. Bulls played with Kevin Ross at Temple in the same secondary.
Yeah.
Ross is going to be 64 this year. Okay. I'm telling you right now, those coaches have to go. And what is Todd's level of enthusiasm? Todd will be 63 this year of coaching this season where he's coming off of a losing record. He will be on the hot seat this year. He will, whether the Glazers want to hear that or not. Okay. He's going to be on the hot seat at 8-9. Does he want to come back and start the 2026 season on the hot seat? Does he want to have to make coaching changes this late in his career, getting rid of some of his cronies, his buddies? Okay. What if Jason Light says, Todd, we're going to fire the defensive coordinator? That's you. We need a different defensive play caller. We need a different defensive system. Todd, we want you to be a walk-around coach like Raheem Morris, like John Harbaugh, like Mike Tomlin. Is that enough to make Todd Bowles stay? Todd Bowles loves calling the defense.
Mm-hmm.
These are some questions that if Todd Bowles doesn't agree to, if he doesn't see the value in doing this and just staying on as a possible walk-around coach, he might just opt to retire. We saw Bruce Arians just suddenly retire. And I know that Todd Bowles has a contract extension that he signed. This season has taken a toll on him. This has not been a fun stretch since the bye week. A 1-7 collapse ended up with a 2-7 finish and an 8-9 record overall. So, Matt, there's a lot of ways this could go. The Glazers might just say, we want to keep him. We don't really like the candidates that are out there. We want to give him one more shot. There was a lot of injuries this year. They might say, we want to keep Todd. We'll let him call plays. He's got to make some staff changes. What is it going to entail for Josh Grizzard? Is Todd going to say, hey, I want to give Josh another opportunity. I really, really, really don't want to have to start over again with another offensive coordinator. I've gone through Byron. I've gone through Dave Canales. I've gone through Liam Cohen. I've gone through Josh Grizzard. I really don't want to have another offensive coordinator. Okay. That's not beneficial to me as a head coach or this team. Let's give Josh another shot. What if Jason Light says, no, this team can't score points anymore? Okay. This team has averaged like 17 points per game over the last 3 weeks. It's not good enough. If the Buccaneers were to have made the playoffs and hosted either the Rams, which had the number one scoring offense, averaging 30 points per game, or the 49ers, which average 25 points per game, they're the 10th highest scoring offense. Guess what? They're not beating the 49ers or the Rams anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So how does Todd Bowles feel about Josh Grizzard? Does he want him gone? Is he going to be part of the scapegoating? Does he want to stay? Does he want Grizzard to have year 2 because he doesn't want to deal with going through this process again? There's a lot to this puzzle.
Yeah.
A lot of this. And we don't know. This is all speculation. We're just putting all the cards on the table, and we'll start to flip them over as we know more. But there's a lot of different ways this can go, Matt. And only the Glazers and Jason Light really, truly know what Todd Bowles' fate will be. And the last thing I'll say, and I'll turn it over to you for your thoughts, this is not Mark Davis, right? This is not just one singular owner. This is not Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones in Dallas. This is not 2 guys that are going to be talking about this. This is the Glazers, plural, with an S, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Brian, Joel, Ed, Darcy, Kevin, Avi, 6 owners, some more involved than others. This is a committee. This is a jury. Okay? They could all be in the room deliberating. And Jason Light's just sitting outside the door waiting like, have y'all made up your mind yet which way we're going to go? This is not Jason just talking to one owner and convincing him to do this or that. No, this is a committee, a jury, a family, a group decision. And there cannot be a hung jury. They've got to talk and deliberate this until all of the Glazers are in lockstep with the final decision. And that's going to be the case about Todd Bowles' future. Mm-hmm. And if they end up firing Todd or Todd retires and they bring on a new head coach, that's going to be a process too. They're going to have to get everybody on board. It's a lot.
No matter how we look at it, it will be a long, arduous process, whether we're talking about a new coach or new coordinators, whatever the case may be. But just some overall thoughts, really, just going back to the play on the field. It's a bummer the Bucs didn't make the playoffs, but they did it to themselves. I mean, it'll get lost in the wayside because they didn't make the playoffs, and there's everyone talks about 28-3 when the Falcons blew it in the Super Bowl, which is a much bigger magnitude. But I mean, this was an all-time collapse by the Bucs, being 6-2. It's a collapse for the whole season. Then you had mini collapses as well, like the Thursday night Creamsicle game against Atlanta. But honestly, since it came down to this 3-way tiebreaker, I can't help but think, well, yeah, that was a huge mistake against Atlanta. I can't help but think, too, the Eagles game with the block punt and how valiantly the Bucs fought in the second half, but they put themselves in too much a hole in the first half, so they weren't able to come back against the Eagles. I think of the Patriots game when the Bucs had the ball in the fourth quarter after the game looked like it was done, and then Tyke Smith had an interception on Drake May in the end zone, and the Bucs had a chance to drive down the field, score a touchdown, and win the game, and they couldn't get the job done then. I think about Todd Bowles electing to punt it in the second half when he was essentially at midfield against the Buffalo Bills in a back-and-forth game where whoever had the ball was scoring, and he decided to punt it on a fourth and long one. There are many, many moments this season outside of losing to Miami down the stretch, losing to Carolina in Carolina, and even that Thursday night game. There's so many other moments that you can point to and say, man, if the Bucs pulled away with that one, they're in the postseason right now at 9-8. And it doesn't look that good, but you're still in the postseason and you live to fight another day. So that's not going to happen. And then just looking at this. Sure. What?
No, go ahead, man.
And then looking at everything else with this team, because the season ended the way it did, you can't go into next year with just the same exact regime. Like, you can't have all the same coaches, coordinators, and everything like that. So because of that, someone has to be the scapegoat. Someone has to be the fall guy. Yeah. Will it be Josh Grizzard? Will it be the defensive coaches? Or will it end up being Todd Bowles? That's the big thing, and that we're going to find out, in the next couple of hours, days, weeks, and all that stuff. And it really seems like there's 4 options. A, fire Todd Bowles. B, get rid of a lot of the defensive coaches and bring in new, younger coaches on the defensive side. C, bring in a new offensive coordinator. Or also, D, make Todd Bowles a stand-around coach and then completely revamp the defense. And some of these can be combined. You could just get a whole new defensive staff and offensive staff. Really depends on how Todd feels and how the organization feels as well.
Yeah, and it certainly doesn't help, right? If you are Todd Bowles and you're watching the game today, and obviously the Buccaneers are out, right? But you look over, and I have to wonder what's going through the Glazers' mind when they see Liam Cohen take over a downtrodden Jaguars team, and in his first season win the AFC South with a 13-4 record. 13-4, and he was here last year, and they had an opportunity, and you heard it at the end of the last episode and Raise the Flags. Sometimes it's not about chasing the shiny new toy. Sometimes it's about consistency and locker room and blah, 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 whatever Brian Glazer was talking about. I wonder if that sentiment still rings true today. And I'm not saying Liam Cohen would have gone 13-4 here in Tampa, but the dude can coach.
Yes, he
and
can.
Anthony Campanile, the defensive coordinator for the Jaguars, that guy can coach. The Jaguars are either atop the league or they're right behind the Bears in terms of takeaways. They have like 22 interceptions. They had another pick six today. 22 interceptions this year for the Jaguars. It's an aggressive, opportunistic, attacking defense. Oh, and by the way, Liam's pretty good offensive coordinator, pretty good play caller. Has turned Trevor Lawrence into what the Jaguars were hoping he would be. And meanwhile, without Liam Cohen, Baker Mayfield reverted to numbers that he produced under Dave Canales in 2023. We didn't see the 41 touchdowns, the 71% completion percentage. We didn't see 30 points per game. We didn't see 4,500 yards. Just saying.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too. Coaches are going to get a lot of the blame. Some players deserve some blame as well. Like Baker Mayfield, he's not on the hot seat. He's going to be back as quarterback next year. But in terms of contract extension and all of that stuff after next season,
yeah,
I think that's a little up in the air as well. That's hanging in the balance. I don't think it's a lock for Baker and his accomplishments. And ultimately, what he does this season, I don't want to say it doesn't matter because that's not true. But ultimately, if he has a bounce back year next season in 2026, ultimately, people aren't going to care as much about him having a down season. But if he has a similar season in 2026 compared to what he had now, those that don't want Baker Mayfield around anymore, they will get louder and louder. Does that necessarily mean that's how the majority of Bucs fans feel? No, not necessarily.
Right.
But it will give the Bucs a lot of caution on what do we do moving forward after 2026. Now, again, if the new offensive coordinator comes in and Baker turns back into the Liam Cohen, Baker Mayfield, and the success he had, then all will be fine, and the Bucs will figure it out with Baker Mayfield. But it's definitely a storyline that the Bucs didn't want to have to venture into going into this offseason.
Yeah.
And now it's become more of a conversation because of everything else that fell apart.
Yeah, we've got a lot of super chats. You all showing up in major ways today. We're looking at the numbers right here in terms of just who's watching this, just even on X right now. It's crazy. So thank you all very much for your participation today. I know that some of you are kind of happy as long as it leads to a coaching turnover, and some of you are unhappy because you wanted to see your team in the playoffs. I get both sides. I do.
For sure. So let's get these super chats rolling. We'll start with Shaggy. Thank you for the $5. Says, at least Levante David and Gene go out with a win.
That's true.
Yes, that is a very small, well, I shouldn't say very small, but a smaller silver lining in this is that if this is Levante David's last game, which it felt like, and it surely is Gene Deckerhoff's last game calling the Bucs, it was a win. Levante had a signature moment, and there was still that hope for Tampa Bay. So glad that he got some cheers as he was leaving the field.
Yes.
And at least we can remember Levante going out on a positive note with how he played, regardless of the Bucs not making the postseason.
Absolutely.
FLTB, thanks for the $1.99, says, all U-Hauls report to one Buck place. There will be change. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of who and
Yeah.
what. V. Delaney, thanks for the $1.99, says, Scott, please tell me that Todd Bowles is gone.
I can't. Last name is Reynolds, not Laser. Is not Light. I can't say that.
Yeah.
I think I spelled it out pretty clearly. The questions that the Glazers and Todd and Jason Light needed to ask about Todd Bowles' future in Friday's SRS Fab 5. I'm sure that's been read. Will it have any impact? We'll see. Don't know.
Gwyn Dietering, thanks for the $10, says, so are we just going to do this crap again and keep the mediocre coach who every year he hits a midseason slump and barely makes the playoffs, or like today, misses the playoffs? Yeah, it's true. Like Scott has said before, they bookended 8 and 9 seasons, which is not great. Once again, at least a 3-game losing streak, and this year a 4-game losing streak as well. The eureka moment did not come through. If Bowles stays, he's going to have to convince a lot of the fan base, media, people around the league that the people he's bringing in, whether it's a new safeties and cornerbacks coach, they got to be the real deal Holyfield as well, because everything else has just been very mundane and underwhelming.
Here's the problem too, is this is not unlike it was in 2023 when he was trying to find a replacement for Byron Leftwich. The word around the league was Todd's on the hot seat after going 8-9 in the first year. Now, granted, you have Baker Mayfield as your quarterback rather than Kyle Trask. Remember, Tom Brady retired. They offered the job, the offensive coordinator job, to Todd Monken. He said no. They offered it to Dan Pitcher. He said no. They offered it to multiple people. The only one that wanted the job was Dave Canales. So even if we sit here and say, or Jason Light, or the Glazers, or all of us say, Todd, got to make some coaching changes here. Do you want to latch yourself to what it could be a sinking ship, right? Now, if you're a quality control guy, right, being a position coach even for 1 year is better than being a gopher in another organization, right? You want to move up the ladder. Yeah. You want to get something on your resume. But what I'm saying, though, is it kind of shrinks the talent pool a little bit, too. You're going to have a lot of coaches saying, no, thanks. I'm going to stay where I am, rather than necessarily going to a situation where, hey, if the Buccaneers don't start off hot again, then Bowles might not make it through the 2026 season. I know the Glazers have never fired a coach before, but that's the case. Open locker room tomorrow will be at noon. Todd Bowles' press conference is at 3:30. So, Matt, you and I will be doing our Monday podcast at One Buccaneer Place.
Cool. Virgin Boys, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Says, I'm active duty in the Navy. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you for your service.
And if Todd Bowles is still the head coach next year, I will volunteer to go on a 10-month-long deployment so I do not have to watch this terribly coached team lose.
I've heard it all.
Wow.
Now I've heard it all.
Man.
Can't say I blame you, Virgin Boys, but wow, I've heard it all.
Appreciate your passion.
Yes.
Kings are awful. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, it's disgusting if the Glazers keep Bowles because of his stupid extension they gave him. Fans have to suffer because of their stupidity.
Listen, I know people like Ian Rappaport have said, he just got an extension. Like, they're not going to want to do that. No, the Glazers are going to keep Todd Bowles not because of how much they owe him. They're going to keep him because they believe in him and they like him. They want him to succeed. That's going to be the reason. They are billionaires with a B. Okay? Billionaires with a B. How much does Todd Bowles make? I don't know. Does he make $5 million a year? $3.5 million? Does he make $7 million? Let's say he makes $7 million a year. Okay? Signed a 3-year contract extension. Every contract that Glazers do, the last year is always a team option. So it's really a 2-year extension with a team option. And if the team says, nope, we're not going to pick up your final year, then that coach is not guaranteed any money that year. Okay. So 7 plus 7 is 14. They just wasted $14 million on Hassan Reddick. Okay. So you don't think they're going to like fret over, oh gosh, we got to hire a new coach and pay Todd Bowles? No, they did the same thing with John Gruden and Bruce Allen. Okay. They fired both of those guys months after signing them to 3-year contract extensions during the 2008 season. When it comes to billionaires, a couple million here or there. It's like me saying, "Hey, I bet on the wrong team, babe. Sorry, I lost a couple $100 last night." Like that's really what it is. It's not fatal. It's not. That's not going to be the overriding decision or the factor in this decision.
I do wonder if that factors into Bowles either retiring or kind of making the Glazers fire him. Because if he retires, I don't think he gets that, the extra 2 years because he's kind of willingly hanging it up.
What I think is if Todd reads the writing on the wall, right? Then he says, "Hey, let's meet in the middle, right? Instead of you firing me and it looking bad or whatever, let's agree to me retiring. Instead of you owing me 2 years, you just pay me 1 year." And I'm sure the Glazers would be like, "Sounds good, let's do it."
Yeah, that's I don't get why Todd would agree to that, though. I mean, I guess for a thing, but he's leaving $7 million on the table for something the Glazers are going to do anyway. So I don't really get why Todd would do that.
Well, I mean, if he quote unquote wanted to go out on his own terms and write the ending of his own story, saying, "I wasn't fired, I opted to retire." That's
and everyone will go, "Sure, Todd,
exactly.
Sure,
yeah, right."
Buck for life. Thanks for the $1.99. Says we might have just lost Styles or Bailey by winning with the heartbreak emoji.
Yeah, the Buccaneers now. Let's see. I think the earliest they could pick would be 13 now. I think that's the earliest, depending on other outcomes. They'll picking between 13 and 17, depending on what happens with some of these other games. But if they would have lost, it might have gotten down to 10 at 7 and 10. And right now, does it matter if you're 7 and 10 or 8 and 9? It just for posterity's sake. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not going to help you come draft time.
Mr. King03, thanks for the $5. Says Todd ain't going nowhere, Bucs fans. This organization doesn't care about Super Bowls. They just care about being competitive, allegedly.
I mean, I don't know that the Buccaneers are that competitive, to be honest. I mean, again, it's take a look at this. I mean, this is how they finished down the stretch. So you could argue that, the Falcons and the Saints, they both beat the Buccaneers down the stretch, right? The Panthers split with the Buccaneers down the stretch. So are the Buccaneers going to be competitive next year? I have no idea. I don't know how they're going to be. Neither does Todd Bowles.
Yeah, it's tough to say how this whole division will be because, Atlanta may have a new head coach. New Orleans will have a full season with Tyler Shuck and maybe not be as crazy injured as they were this year, at least on the offensive side. And who knows with Dave Canales and Carolina, I can see them getting better. I can see them getting worse too. So very cloudy with this worst division in football.
You're exactly right. Exactly right.
Min Centrin Bailey, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. We appreciate it. Paul Morales, thank you for the $4.99. Says Shefty said Todd's job is safe. If true, it's hard to take the Glazers serious. Shefty didn't say his job is safe. He said it was leaning, because I watched the video and everything he had to say. He said they were leaning towards being safe, but let's see what happens, which means let's see if they get into the postseason. They did not get into the postseason.
Correct.
Change very quickly. There's no definitive answer one way or another right now.
That's right. And the other thing, too, that Schefter said was they don't want to fire Todd Bowles, right? They don't want to fire him. It doesn't mean that they're not going to. And keep in mind, too, and let's hope they don't pull this maneuver again, but John Gruden was fired 19 days after the end of the 2008 season. 19 days after the 2008 season. So they reserve the right to take their time, make up their mind. This is a big decision. Matt, you understand this just as well as I do. There's no Liam Cohen in-house, right? There's no Dirk Cutter replace Lovie Smith, There's no Ben Johnson out there. There's no Mike Vrabel out there. This is not the best cycle when it comes to head coaching candidates, especially if you want an offensive-minded guy. That may play a factor into this because if you're going to fire Todd Bowles, you can't just fire him and say, all right, well, let's go find a guy now. No, you have to have a hot list. You have to
Well,
have already had conversations and say, if we fire Todd, these are the guys we're going to interview. This is where we're going to start. We like these guys in the process, and let's see how those interviews go.
right, but also the Glazers can't be that patient, because if they do wait 19 days, you know who else is looking for head coaches? The
Everybody
Giants,
else.
the Titans, likely the Raiders. And if they all find their guys, then, you're like Travolta in Pulp Fiction when he's looking
That's right.
around.
Yep, that's
Where's
exactly
our head
right.
coach? Like, you're going to be way behind the 8 ball, and then you either end up overpaying, or that's where you go the Gruden route, or someone that hasn't coached in a while. And so I get it. Take your time. Definitely put some good thought into it. I'm not saying they have to do it tomorrow or whatever, or later tonight or whatever the case may be, but you got to make it kind of soon, because other teams are ready to find their coach.
Yeah.
Let's get to Kings Are Awful. Thanks for the $5. Says, the fact this game matters should make Bowles be gone. His ineptitude is deplorable. You couldn't beat a third string, and you allowed a 3rd and 28. Yeah, I hear you. And I don't see how they could make Todd Bowles just be a walk-around coach when he's terrible at these in-game decisions and stuff like that. So I think that would be a bad idea as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Stephen Zool, thanks for the $1.99, says, nah, hey. Bye, Bowles. We'll see.
We will see.
But we understand how you feel.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, correct me if I'm wrong, but does Bowles have at least a 6-game losing streak at some point every year he's been a head coach? 6 games, no.
Yeah. But he's had 3 consecutive years with 4 losses in a row. And this year, he even had a 4-game losing streak and a separate 3-game losing streak. So,
yeah. And lost 7 of 8, which isn't good either.
Correct.
So, he was close to that too.
Yeah.
CJ, thanks for the $1.99, says, type in this pissed, at least no first place schedule. True, but as we
really
pointed out today and yesterday as well, third place schedule is very difficult as well. You're going to have the Chiefs presumably revamped with Patrick Mahomes playing. And then whoever is in third place between the 49ers and the Rams. So that's a tough matchup as well.
Yep.
Tampa Bay Hammy, thanks for the $4.99, says, will you call for Bowles to be fired after the bye performance was unacceptable?
I think they should have a new coach. I do. I've been pretty clear without coming out and saying fire Bowles. I think I've made that pretty clear. I would welcome a new head coach. At the same time, it's not my call, right? I thought Lovie Smith was a detriment to this organization, like a detriment. Terrible coach. Players couldn't stand him. It's not the case with Todd Bowles. The players like him. Okay, so I'm just saying it's like it's this right here. SR trying to hedge because he's afraid they're going to run it back. No, I'm not trying to hedge anything. I'm just being completely transparent with you. Would I welcome a head coaching change? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? I'm not sure. I think there was a greater chance if they would have finished 7-10 with a loss, with 5 straight losses to end the year. Yeah, I think that was probably the death knell. But did he escape that at 8-9 with a chance to win the division here? Maybe. I don't know.
If I were the Glazers, I'd fire Todd Bowles.
I would
but
too.
I'm not.
Yes.
So
exactly.
So,
I would too. But
that's the thing. I do see a world. Hear me out, Bucs fans, where Bowles is still the head coach, and they could find success if they revamp the offensive and the defensive coaching staff.
Yeah.
I see a world. Yeah. That's not me saying Todd Bowles and do that stuff. I'm just saying there is a world where they can regain success. That's right. Once again, also benefiting from playing in a bad NFC South.
Yeah.
Henry Gigante, thanks for the $4.99, says, well, this season was a colossal failure. Fire Bowles and Grizzard. I agree it's a colossal failure because of the 6-2 start.
Yeah.
And the fact that they literally had to win 3 games after going 6-2, and they would have made the postseason, and they didn't. So to me, that's why it's a colossal failure.
I agree.
Aiden, thank you for the $9.99 super chat, says, haha, we deserve this, LOL. Terrible coaching both on offense and defense. Meanwhile, Cohen won his division year 1 but it's okay because the guys rally for Todd, right?
Yeah, I mean
It's
you're
tough
not
too
wrong.
because it's not just Cohen, it's Canales. You had two guys in
Yeah.
your building that have now led their teams to the postseason, and one of them's in your own conference, and one of them, while you beat them, they also beat you 2 weeks ago. That stopped you from reaching the postseason, so that hurts just as much.
Yep.
Tate Miller, thanks for the $1.99, says percentage chance Bowles gets fired.
50-50.
Mm.
I think it's 50.
I'm gonna say 65.
65% chance he does.
Yeah.
I could see 60-40. I also too, I don't think there is like that coach out there this year that they're just really enamored about, and I think that's part of it. Also too, I just had conversations with people who are in the decision-making process that convince me that ownership loves, not likes, not appreciates, loves Todd Bowles. So if they do part ways with Todd Bowles, it's going to be a very, very difficult decision for the Glazers to make. But I will say this, I'm not afraid of the situation. I'm happy to put Todd Bowles on the hot seat right now for the 2026 season because he deserves it.
Yeah, he has to be. He has to be. Jeh 9999, thanks for the $10 super chat, says just with the Saints loss. Close, but too many mistakes. We had so many chances to win the division. Bowles is gone. Don't be surprised. Gruden comes back since he made up with. I do find it funny that a big part of the Saints-Falcons game was the Saints got a punt blocked early in the game, and it led to a touchdown by Atlanta. It's like, wow, punt's still negatively impacting the Bucs, even when they're not the ones punting.
That's right.
Kind of felt a little poetic in a weird, dark, twisted way.
Yes. Yep.
Kings are awful. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Says if Bowles is on the hot seat, no offensive coordinator worth a damn is coming here, nor is a reliable defensive staff coming here for a dead man walking head coach. Yeah, it's Dave Canales all over again.
I agree.
Or that situation.
That's why this is so layered. Okay. That's why this is so layered. And that's why we're not cut and dry with the situation. Just like we talked about, then I'll say it in a really quick, concise way again. The Glazers might say, we want Todd. What does it have? What has to happen for that to occur? Well, he needs a new defensive coordinator and a new staff. Okay. Who wants to come here and work for a lame duck coach? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing. Well, we need a better offensive coordinator than Josh Grizzard. Who wants that? Okay. So in the Glazers' mind, in their perfect world, perfect idyllic scenario, they might sit there and say, we're going to keep Todd Bowles as the walk-around coach, and we're going to have a new defensive staff, we're going to have a new offensive coordinator, and we're going to have Jason get more talent, and then we're going to do in 2026 what we thought was going to happen in 2025. That might be easier said than done, and that's why too, unless they just come out and fire Todd tomorrow or maybe tonight, that's why this might last a little bit. Because they might realize that what they want to have happen might not be possible. They might not get the top coaches that Todd wants to get. Or Todd might give them resistance and say, no, I don't want this. I know you want to keep me, but I don't want to fire Nick Rapone and Kevin Ross, and I still want to call plays. Then you get a push come to shove moment, and that might last into Tuesday. Again, not one Glazer makes this call. This is a family decision. Then you have to get Jason Light on board too, because it's his team. He's the general manager.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever they say, Jason needs to sign off on too. Right. As much as they don't want to fire Todd Bowles, they don't want to fire Jason Light either.
Mm-hmm.
So unless Todd Bowles just gets canned tomorrow, this thing might drag on a little bit because there are multiple layers to all of this.
And that's fine. They should thoroughly think this out as much as possible. Just don't make it a 19-day thing. Give it a week if you need to. But it can't go much further than a week and a half, just based on the timeline of the NFL and other teams that will be looking for coaches too. Unless the Bucs already have a trick up their sleeve.
Right.
They cannot wait too long.
And here's why I'm saying this. Have the Glazers and Jason Light been talking about firing Todd Bowles? I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've gone down those scenarios. They're not just having those discussions today. They've talked about this because you need contingency plans, you need backup plans, whatever, right? So they've had those discussions. What does it look like if we fire Todd? Who are the candidates out there, right? But if they sit there and they go to Todd and they say, okay, Todd, we want you to stay, but you have to fire these coaches, and they give him a list, okay? And then he says, okay, all right, I'll do this. So then he whittles his staff down, right? And just gets rid of a lot of coaches. Mm-hmm. Then what happens if 2, 3, 4 days into the process, Todd is trying to recruit guys to come here to fill these holes, and he's not getting the people he wants? Then what? You've already gone down the road. You fired your assistants. You're on the lookout for a new offensive coordinator, and it's like 2023 all over again. Following that 2022 season, you're 8-9, no man's land, right? What's going to happen? And then Todd reports to the Glazers and Jason and says, well, I probably shouldn't have done that, because now what? I can't get anybody that wants to come coach that I want to come coach because we're 8-9. And nobody believes that I have a 2-year extension and my job's safe, because Matt and Scott and others are saying I'm on the hot seat, which, yes. See what I'm saying? Like, This is not as cut and dry. The only way it's cut and dry is if the Glazers come out tonight or tomorrow and say Todd Bowles is fired. That's the only way it's cut and dry. Otherwise, there's layers here.
A lot of layers. Javier, thank you for the $4.99. Says, imagine starting a season 6-2 and then rooting for the stinking Saints on week 17 for a chance to get into the playoffs. This was embarrassing. The damn Saints couldn't even help.
No.
Tate Miller, thanks for the $1.99, says Bucs draft pick possibilities.
As of right now,
they're at 14th. Yeah. Which and the Rams pick in front of them because the Rams have Atlanta's first round pick.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what they're at. 3 sevens. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, can we talk about how designing an offense is different from play calling? It's a more complex position than picking the right call on a play sheet.
Yeah, I mean it is. Play sequencing is huge. Setting up certain plays, right? There's a lot to it. It's not just this is the playbook I came up with. There's so much to it. And again, it's like when you have Emeka Egbuka had 5 catches for like less than 100 yards in the last 3 games. And this was a guy who was your leading weapon earlier in the season, and he just kind of became the forgotten man. I mean, he needed like 300 yards over the last half of the season to hit 1,000, and he came up like 62 yards short or something like that. It's crazy.
And I go back to what Liam Cohen said last year, is that it's about players over plays. Yes. You have Mike Evans, you have Emeka Egbuka, and Egbuka just disappeared really the second half of the season. The last really good game he had was that New England game. He bounced back. That Thursday night Creamsicle game had a big showing. But, really, the last second half of the season just was not a factor into the Bucs offense.
I know.
Kings are awful. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Says, if Bowles is kept, expect a worse record next year. Well, then he'll certainly be fired.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, how much time do you want to waste? You want to just... Because it can get worse. Again, the arrow was pointing down at the end of the season, right? I mean, I'll put that graphic up again. Out of all 4 teams, in the last 5 weeks, the Bucs were the worst. Worst. They were 1-4. Okay? If they didn't win by 2 points last night, they would be 0-5 in the last 5 games. They would be the worst team. They still are, but they would have looked even worse. So what makes you think it's going to get better next year? Like, where's the evidence? I mean, the defense was terrible. Oh, and by the way, did you see how many sacks the Falcons have? Remember James Pierce, the guy that was like not on the Bucs draft board, the 10.5 sack guy for the Falcons? And I know this team has been resisting going out and getting Chase Young in free agency. I don't know. He just got 10 sacks on the season. Okay. So meanwhile, Todd Bowles' Buccaneers had 37 sacks on the year. First time they have not hit at least 44 in any season in Tampa Bay under Todd Bowles. That's not good. So again, where's
No
the
sacks
evidence?
yesterday.
Where's the evidence it's going to get better in 2026? Hope is not
no
a strategy.
sacks yesterday too.
No, that's right. No sacks. And Kalijah Cansey returned, and he didn't even, I think, even make a tackle.
He had one QB hit. That was
Right.
his lone statistic.
Yeah.
Vision 9-3, thanks for the 9.99, says, going forward, this team needs a slight overhaul. Panthers on an upwards trend, have more talent and far better coaching. Bucs right now are the third best team in the South. Yeah, I mean, there's a case to be made. Atlanta has the most talent in the division with Bijan and Drake London and everyone that they have on the defensive side.
Xavier Watts is a player too.
Xavier Watts should win Defensive Rookie of the Year in my opinion.
I
mean, all the plays he's made.
Yeah,
I want him so badly.
I know you and I both loved him, even though he's from Notre Dame. We're like,
yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's how high I was on him.
You got Benjamin Morrison, great. Now get Xavier Watts as teammate, right?
Yeah. And then you put Tyke back in the slot. And, wow, yeah. Sliding doors moment. But yeah, anyway,
Right.
So I don't know. I would say right now, the Bucs probably have the second most talent, but Carolina's coaching, which funny enough, like half their coaching staff was with Tampa when Dave Canales was here. Carolina has the better coaching staff, and ultimately that was enough to prevail to win the division title. Because again, Carolina had some big wins over Green Bay and LA, and the Bucs hadn't had a big win since over Seattle in the first month of the season, or maybe the first day or two in October. So
yeah, agreed.
That was a big difference. Kings are awful, says, thank you for the $2 super chat. Light better get the checkbook out in free agency. I want aggressiveness from Jason Light in this free agency, whether it's signing a player or trading for a player. Do not be afraid to give up draft picks. Oh, well, this guy could be this one thing, or this guy could be Max Crosby, or you could have Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to give up a draft pick or two. All right. You're on the cusp of having a great team. The talent's still there. And we see it in the NFL all the time.
Yeah.
Teams go from a bad year to a great year, from a great year to a bad year. It can happen. And this team has too much talent where it can't be squandered. They have a group that's good enough with better coaching. They can win 12 games next season.
Yeah.
For sure. Ward Burns, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, gut feeling. Bowles gets one more year, but same goes for Light, Baker, all of them. One more season to put it all together, or we blow it all the way up.
I don't think the Glazers want to blow it all up. I think that they don't want to go back to the decade of darkness where it was Raheem and then Greg Schiano and then Lovie Smith and then Dirk Cutter. They don't want that. They're going to cling to anything that's going to keep this team competitive on a regular basis. They don't want that.
Yeah. Because you got to think, even after, say, Bowles comes back, even after next season, you're looking at Mike is probably gone at wide receiver by then. Chris Godwin will have one more year left on his deal. Depending on how he looks, maybe the Bucs move on in that situation. But you're still going to have majority of the starting offensive line under contract. You're still going to have Bucky. You're still going to have Emeka Buka and Jalen McMillan. You have pieces to still work with on the offensive side. And a pretty young group on the defensive side, at least in the secondary and stuff like that. So they, even after Mike and Chris are no longer with the team, they still got enough with this group to go out and win football games.
And with Godwin, I mean, he played in 9 games. That's over half the season. And he finished with 33 catches for 360 yards, a pedestrian 10.9 yard average. I mean, that's Cade Otton-like in terms of the average, and 2 touchdowns. Right. And that's including the 59-yarder he had last week at Miami. Right. So, I mean, that is not 20 million plus production.
Sure.
And we'll see how we look.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going with Chris Godwin Jr. I'm keeping an open mind for next season.
Me too. Yeah. You're getting the benefit of the doubt and all of that. Yeah. I agree.
Wellesley Jr., thank you for the $1.99, says, if Glazers keep Bowles, they don't care about us. It's not that they don't care, but there is an old saying that ownership, if they start listening to the fans, then they're going to end up in the seats next to the fans as well. It is tough. You don't want to give in to peer pressure, and sometimes you got to make decisions that fans aren't going to like. But with this Todd Bowles one, I think it's very different than just like, hey, we're getting rid of a star player or we're trading a star player.
Yeah, agreed.
FLTB, thanks for the $1.99. This was 2008 all over again. Fire Bowles tonight.
I'm for it. Yeah, I'm for it.
We'll see. Ed Wamill, thank you for the $1.99. Says, thank God, cannot take watching one more week. Yeah, it hasn't been the most exciting football from the Bucs because their defense makes the same mistakes. Their opponent moves the ball against them the same way, and then the offense is scoring less points per week.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been fun football either.
There was a lot of fans there, even though it was raining, and I think a lot of fans were there for Levante David and Mike Evans, possibly, right? I mean, you're there to see your heroes play, not some guy coach, right? That's just there's no Todd Bowles jerseys worn by fans in the stands. It's 13, it's 54, it's those jerseys. But what is and at the same time too, if you bought season tickets, right? You're in for the whole season. Like, you have passes for all the games. But it would have been interesting to see at 8 and 9 how many Buccaneer fans would have bought tickets for that wild card game, because they're pretty expensive. The NFL sets prices for playoff tickets. How many Buccaneer fans would show up to see this team possibly get shellacked by the Rams or the 49ers next week? That's a prime comment right there. Ready to see this season be over. I don't think that person's alone either.
No, not at all. Henry Gigante, thanks for the $4.99. Says, I can't see a Todd Bowles-led staff even sniff a postseason next year. His scheme is so flawed. There needs to be a lot of corrections, and I am very curious if he would let a defensive coordinator come in and just call different things. I don't see it.
I don't either.
But I just wonder if a new set of eyes could maybe open things up for Todd Bowles.
Yeah, you would think so. It's one thing for him to get Zach Beislein, the game strategy coach, and help with game management decisions. That's the defense is Todd Bowles' baby, right? That's why he's in this. He wants to call plays. So I can't see him. I could see him being asked to give up play calling duties, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the X factor in all this is he might just retire. He might just say, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving it up. So,
Evan Agor, thank you for this $1.99 super chat. We appreciate it. Thank you to Mopar Buck for this $19.99 super chat. Says, why would owners keep a guy who's causing a stadium to become filled with booze? Not the good kind, like the drinking kind. There's zero indication Bowles can take us higher than he has this coaching staff, and team construction does not scream 11 to 12 wins.
Yeah, I think that's the next question. I posed that in my SR's Fab 5. There was a whole section. I think it was like Section 3, Fab 3. How are they going to sell tickets? If Levante's gone, if Mike is possibly gone, the bloom has come off the rose for Bucky Irving. Okay. Baker Mayfield is not as popular as he was when he was a two-time Pro Bowler. Certainly throwing 41 touchdowns, helped his cause. If Bowles is not popular, what happens there? And I'm just going to put this up here real quick. We're going to kind of cut the line here just because this just popped up. Kings are awful with a $2 super chat. Told my ticket rep won't renew until Bowles is gone. I wonder how often this is going to happen. And I don't think you're the only one. Kings are awful. I think that there's going to be a lot of Buccaneer fans that are going to be, hey, I'm not going to get season tickets this year. I might get individual tickets on a wait and see basis to see how this team does. But I'm not going all in, not when Todd Bowles is still here. I think there could be a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles is a very unpopular coach.
It's one of the ways fans can truly show how frustrated they are and have it directly impact ownership. So
that's right.
if that's how you feel you want to do it, then that's how they'll go about it. Gabriel Kelber, thanks for the $1.99, says, SR, if you had to put money on it, what happens with Todd Bowles?
I wouldn't put money on it because I literally don't know. If I knew, I would tell you. I think this could go either way. I could totally see them moving on from Todd Bowles. I can totally see him, see the Glazers keeping him because there may not be that awesome candidate out there that would be perfect to come in here and take this team to the next level.
I would place money on Bowles is no longer the head coach because that gives you the option of either Bowles retires or he's fired. So
I agree. I think there's a greater chance that happens.
Room for expansion.
I agree.
Mr. King 03, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, at this point, extend Bowles again. They don't care. They do care. They do care.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to consider.
That's right.
The real Joey Salas, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, I'm an out-of-state fan. If Todd stays head coach, I'm not renewing Sunday ticket or buying new merch until he's gone. Now, that's interesting. Also, because Sunday ticket, you get all of the games. Like, I get it if you don't want to watch the Bucs, but there's plenty of football and good football and better football to watch. So I'd advise not renewing the Sunday ticket. But, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
That's right.
FLTB, thanks for the $1.99, says Light needs to be scolded by the Glazers.
Well, for what exactly? I mean, he didn't hire Todd Bowles. That was Bruce Arians' call. All he did was just kind of like get on board with it because he had to. I mean, that was what Bruce said. I'm going to step down, but I want Todd replacing me. And the Glazers said, okay. And Jason's like,
what are they supposed to say?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Guess so.
The Revo, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, hire the best Madden player that's a Buck fan for a head coach.
Yeah.
Ash Fishpool, thank you for the $19.99, says 6-2 turns to 2-7 is beyond disastrous, and there should be serious consequences for the coaching staff. Glazers need to spend some money, but not sure they have the appetite for that. Just look at Manchester United.
Yeah, I mean, they opened up the checkbook big time for Tom Brady and then certainly the year after, re-signing all those players. They've done that. They've shown their propensity to do that. I don't think the Glazers want to put, good money after bad, but I do think that they want to be competitive. I think they like winning the division. And I'll say this is probably the best thing to spur Jason Light and the Glazers to doing more in 2026. The fact that the Saints came up at the end of the season, the fact that the Falcons ended up tying the Buccaneers and the Panthers with an 8-9 record, the fact that the Buccaneers lost the division, right? Mm-hmm. You can't breathe easy. You can't feel comfortable with your roster because it wasn't good enough this year. You have to do more, better, more in 2026. Otherwise, you're not going to have a chance at the division. Otherwise, one of these teams will do more and will do better and will do better more. And you're going to be chasing other teams for quite some time in the South.
Yeah, because it's interesting the run that went on with the NFC South. It was the Falcons for a little bit. It was the Saints for a little bit.
Yeah.
The Bucs have obviously controlled it since 2020 and on. I do have a feeling, though, there's not going to be a long run of consistent division champs in the NFC South. I think it's the Panthers this year. Next year could be Atlanta. Yeah. Then it's the Bucs' turn. Then who knows? Then it's Atlanta. And then it's the Panthers. And it's the Bucs again. Yep. Maybe the Saints sneak in there. I don't think it's going to be a long-reigning dynasty for really anyone, but I guess Carolina, since they are the division champs. Yep. Evan Gore, thanks for the $1.99, says, do you think the ownership already decided?
There's a chance. So. I don't know. I don't know. I'll say this. In the back of their mind, they might have kind of thought about it or figured it out to a degree. But again, they had a chance to make the playoffs up until an hour ago, right? If the Saints had beaten the Falcons. So we'll see.
Buck for life. Thank you for the $1.99. Says this offseason will be monumental for the next decade. Hey, it very much could be
Yeah.
if they go with the new head coach that directs a lot of different things and
Yeah,
of
it sure
how they
does.
maneuver and who they want playing quarterback
Yeah.
in the future and all it affects everything.
Yep.
So T level, thanks for the $2. Says offensive coordinator prospects McDaniels.
I
He's doing that
mean,
with the Patriots though.
yeah, he's still with the Patriots. And the thing too is are they going to fire Josh Grizzard? Don't know yet.
Mhm.
If you're going to fire Todd Bowles, then you're not looking for an offensive coordinator. You're looking for a head coach first. And is that
Right.
guy going to be the play caller? Right. If he's not, then he'll look for an offensive coordinator. So I like where you're going. It just putting the cart before the horse there. I just don't know if Grizzard's going to stay or go. If Bowles is going to stay or go.
Yeah. Plus, unless you're giving so much more money to Josh McDaniels, why would he leave the Patriots for the same job?
Right.
You're in New England, a winning team that's the 2 seed, trying to get the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Drake may win MVP this year.
That's right.
Why would you leave that for a reclamation project? Not a reclamation, but a much tougher project in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Edwin Mill, thank you for the $9.99. Says Glazers and Light put this team behind for a decade or more, letting Liam go. Don't tell me about hindsight. Plenty of fans wanted Cohen as head coach. That's true.
Yeah.
Can't fire Glazers, but can fire Light and company. There were a lot of people that wanted Liam Cohen. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
So
I would have been okay with it. I totally would have been okay with it.
Tall Florida guy, thanks for the $4.99. I'm actually happy with this outcome. Higher draft pick, possible coaching changes. Even if Todd is back, major changes will happen. Yeah, for sure. Like someone has to be the fall guy in the situation. They are not going to go into next season with the same head coach and the same position coaches on the offensive and defensive side. Something needs to change, and it's not just going to be a couple of new players at different positions.
Right.
CJ, thanks for the $4.99, says, Scott, besides saying, I don't know, what does your gut tell you about what is going to happen to Todd? And if fired, how long you think until a new head coach?
All right, so here's the problem. The problem is, see that right there? The team gave me that. That's a 30 jersey for my 30th year covering the Buccaneers. And I've seen it all. I've seen them allow Tony Dungy to have a season-ending press conference, right? And then fire him after that. Like the day after press conference, they allowed Dungy to speak to the media, and then they fired him right after that. So, like, what's the point of doing that, right? And they were going to replace Tony Dungy with Bill Parcells. That fell through. That led them to trading for John Gruden. They gave John Gruden a 3-year contract extension in 2008. Started off 9-3. They lost 4 games, finished outside of the playoffs. They fired him 19 days later, along with the general manager. Okay. Then they wanted to go young with a young hotshot coach that had never called plays before, that had never been a head coach before, in Raheem Morris, and that was too big of a job for him. Okay. And then they went toes on the line. Greg Schiano, who was the exact opposite, and went to the college ranks. They got somebody, right? And then they said, well, we're going to go get the blast from the past, right? You're wanting John Gruden this year. They went back and got Lovie Smith in years past. They brought him back because he was part of Dungy's staff, part of that initial turnaround of the franchise. He was terrible. He was worse than Schiano, the worst coach I've ever covered. Okay. Then it's like, well, we got the quarterback here. We're going to go with the in-house hire, Dirk Cutter. They had that opportunity last year, but they chose not to do that, right? And maybe part of that was because they didn't want to do a Dirk Cutter again, right? Where you get a good offensive coordinator, but he's not ready to be a head coach. And it just doesn't work out. So maybe the Dirk Cutter scenario was part of the reason why they didn't pull the switcheroo and go with Liam and give Todd the boot last year, right? So here we are with this, and you can sit there and I've gone through these scenarios in my mind. Well, they fired Gruden after giving him a 3-year contract extension, and he finished with a winning record. And he was the winningest coach of all time, and he won a Super Bowl, right? I mean, Todd Bowles has done less. And so why wouldn't you fire him? Well, because what happened after they fired Gruden? They had the decade of darkness. Raheem, Schiano, Lovey, Cutter. Do they want that again? Probably not. So what's the right answer? I don't know. You can point to all these different trigger points in decisions that they've made And you could make the case for, oh, well, yeah, of course they're going to fire Bowles. Or to the, well, maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
You know?
Seth G, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says Bucs usually have a stub your toe game to get better. Maybe this is our stub toe season to ball out with new coaches next year. I respect the spin zone. I respect the positivity.
Yeah.
There are a lot of angry fans, but there are times where you can spin zone some stuff. So
yeah.
Seth, I like what you're cooking up there. I like the more of the positive mindset.
I agree. Yeah.
Dennis McClelland, thank you for the $4.99. Says, guys, big fan of the show. Season ticket holder since '76.
Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome. And thank you for your support. My question to you is, why do you think people have such hatred for Bowles, even when he was doing good? Interesting question.
Yeah, I think part of it is his failures in New York with the Jets. I think part of it is he's following Bruce Arians. That's a tough act to follow. The winningest coach in Bucs history from a percentage standpoint, the guy that just won the Super Bowl, no risk it, no biscuit. The guy that was the closest thing to John Gruden was Bruce Arians, right? Fire and brimstone on the sidelines, cussing at press conferences. More fun to see guys like that and root for them. Todd, is more of a dry personality, kind of Tony Dungy, arms crossed, not that exciting. And so I think it's like you go from Bruce Arians, your cool uncle, to Todd, it's, I don't know. It's
milk
like
and cookies versus, Crown Royal and cigars and stuff
exactly.
like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're going from rock and roll,
yeah,
hair down to, light jazz, which
exactly.
light jazz isn't bad, but
right.
It's
there's a time and a place for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Rock and roll gets the headlines. I'll answer that too. I think it's a good point about kind of his failures in New York. So he comes in and, hey, great defensive coordinator. No one's doubting, at least in his prime, Todd Bowles is a great defensive coordinator. We all know what he did in the Super Bowl, holding the Chiefs to 9 points and no touchdowns. But he becomes a head coach, and rightfully so. A lot of people were like, well, it didn't work out in New York. He didn't have a winning record besides his first season. Why is it going to work out here? And despite, fans don't want to hear about all the other factors of everything going on with Tom Brady at the time and where they were in the salary cap. At the end of the day, they finished 8-9. So people automatically are just like, okay, well, so you're the same coach that you were with the Jets. You're going to have a losing season. Just you're in a worse division, so you have a chance to make the postseason. Then he goes 9-8, and it's like, okay, do it again, prove it. He improved at 10-7, but they lost in the first round, and I think that once again got fans back to, well, how good is this guy?
Yeah.
You go 8-9, 9-8. You did better at 9-8 postseason wise than you did at 10-7. Why should we believe in you? And then a big thing for Bowles that just irks fans, irks me as well, and other coaches have had these issues. The game management issues, the clock management is just so bad at times. It's like, how is this guy a head coach? And okay, he brought in Zach Beislein.
Right.
I still have a lot of questions about why with a minute 51 to go, you're consistently running it and not trying to be aggressive. So I think that plays a lot into it. But good question. Mr. King, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says Operation Absolute Resolve at $1 place.
I don't think we're going to put Todd Bowles in the same category as a communist, narco terrorist like Nicolas Maduro. I don't think special forces are going to be coming down from MacDill and extracting Todd Bowles. I think it's going to come from the Glazers or Jason Light if it's going to happen. But I appreciate the humor in that.
Kings are awful. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says 2026 schedule is loaded with teams to torch Todd Bowles' defense.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be a tough schedule. It's going to be kind of a demanding schedule. Just a quick rundown right here. 2026, the Bucs will be playing at home the Packers, the Vikings, the Browns, the Steelers, and of course the Falcons, Saints, and Panthers. They'll play the second place team in the NFC West, which will either be the Rams or the 49ers. That will be at Ray J. They will also be playing the second place team in the AFC West, which will be the Chargers?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Then the away schedule will be at Chicago, at Detroit again, at Baltimore, at Cincinnati, and then, of course, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Carolina. Then they'll be playing the second place team in the NFC East, which is the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas.
Fun.
So
that'll be cool.
That's what it's looking like right now. So not an easy schedule. If you want easy, look at the Saints. They're playing, instead of the Cowboys, they're playing the Giants. Instead of the Chargers, they're playing the Raiders. And instead of the Rams or 49ers, they're playing the Cardinals. So those are three much easier teams that the Saints will be playing. So look out for New Orleans next year, just because of that. I mean, if you win half your division games, that's 3 right there. Plus, if you win those 3 games, that's 6. You need like 3 more, and you got a winning record. So look out.
Trey Alderson Cloudy Air, thank you for the $4.99. Says, I don't see how the Glazers keep Bowles. The fans are overwhelmingly in opposition of this. To ignore the fans would be a grave financial mistake.
I agree.
Goes back to what Kings Are Awful was saying about canceling season tickets if Todd Bowles is the head coach.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
Buckin, thank you for this $2 super chat. Says it's not fire the cannons, it's fire the coaches. It's a good pun there.
Todd Bowles up the gut.
Yeah. SRQ Salt, thank you for the $19.99. Says encouraged retirement seems like a real possibility. Wholesale coaching staff changes has to happen. What quality assistant coaches would join a coach that is on a major hot seat unless they hire an offensive coordinator as a head coach in waiting?
Yeah, but then still you got to fill out that defensive staff, right? You got to find replacements. You got to get your pass rush coach. You got to get your secondary coaches. I mean, easier said than done. I understand that the Glazers want to thread the needle and, we want to keep Todd. He's a good guy and he's locker room's harmonious and team chemistry and kumbaya and all that. Okay, who wants to coach with them? Who wants to sign on to a possible dead man walking? Who wants to be an assistant for 1 year on a sinking ship? Because that very well could happen.
Yeah, I think you got to sell hey, you got a chance to coach Baker Mayfield and work with Bucky Irving and the young talent and Emeka Egbuka. If it's defensive side, hey, you got Antoine Winfield Jr., Tyke Smith.
I mean, just to put it in perspective, people, like Dan Pitcher was the quarterbacks coach with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Okay, they gave him an opportunity to be the play caller in 2023. Now, granted, it was just Kyle Trask. They didn't have Baker Mayfield yet, right? They're hiring the guy that was eventually Dave Canales. Dan Pitcher said, no, I'm good. I'd rather stay as the quarterbacks coach in Cincinnati, and then I'll wait for the offensive coordinator who doesn't call plays to leave, and then I'll be the new offensive coordinator, and I won't call plays because Zach Taylor, my head coach, will. But I'd rather stay aligned with Joe Burrow and the losing Bengals with Zach Taylor. I'd rather cast my lot in that direction than take a chance to live out my dream to be an offensive play caller. Because the problem is, like Josh Grizzard, if he gets fired, he's not going to have another offensive coordinator job. He's going to have to go back to being a receivers coach or something, right? And then on his resume, he has to answer for, wow, you were part of that losing stretch under Todd Bowles that ultimately got him fired, whether it's 2025 or 2026 or whatever. But you had Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka and Jalen McMillan and Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving and Baker Mayfield, and you only scored 21 points a game, 23 points a game, whatever it was, if you're going to shoot your shot, you better hit the mark, right? Otherwise, this league, they will go on to the next.
That they will. Kyle Miller, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, I hope everyone in this organization from top to bottom thinks really long and hard about how much this season was pissed away. Straight up disappointing. Yeah, started 6-2, and now this is where they are.
Well said.
Moving on to Gator, Florida. Thank you for the $4.99. Says, I know BA says he isn't involved, but he is. Need him gone. Bowles getting extension is proof of BA involvement.
No,
Bad drafts by Light has caught up. He said it on the show. He's not that involved.
His contract is up. He doesn't do anything with the Buccaneers anymore. Jason might call him and shoot the shit with them, but he's officially done with the Buccaneers.
Right. Like he wouldn't be doing the Pat McAfee show every week and stuff like that if he was in the Bucs organization every single week. But anyway, moving on. SRQ Salt, thanks for the $4.99. Says, imagine if Liam Cohen actually signed the new contract. He would be announced as the new head coach Monday.
Yeah.
Well,
the only problem is he's 13-4 right now. And he made a lot more money in 2025 than he would have made here in 2025. And he's 1 year ahead of the game in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And he just won the division. And he is a favorite, probably, or one of the favorites to win NFL Coach of the Year honors. So,
I get what SRQ Salt is saying. Like, if he did stay as the offensive coordinator, but then also, are the Bucs 8-9? They're probably at least 10-7 again, if not at least 9-8. So then they're in the playoffs, and it's like, wow, look at Bowles. He did it again. He got them into the playoffs. So I think that's another way to look at it, too.
I agree. That's well said, man. Well said.
FLTB, thanks for the $4.99, says ChatGPT. John McKay says, we put our playoff hopes in another team's hands. That's like letting your ex pick out your new wife.
That's fantastic.
I'm liking the John McKay ChatGPT because you had one yesterday about divine intervention.
That's good.
Saints, so
that's really good.
Yeah, keep them coming. Greg DeCruz, thank you for this $5 super chat. Good to hear from you. Says, when the Bucs were losing that many games down the stretch, I find it hard to believe that discussions weren't being had by the Glazers.
Oh yeah, they were. You have to go through your due diligence and all that. And so this is not like, they're going to sit down with Jason Light tonight and figure all this stuff out. There are different paths. What happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? What happens if this happens, right? Well, now we know there's no playoffs. So like those plans are gone. Now we're here, right? Yeah. But there's something called when push comes to shove, right? We can sit there and, and deliberate things and all that. But when push comes to shove, are you actually going to follow through? Are you going to do this? Or are you going to hem and haw and get cold feet about it? Things like that, right? I mean, everybody's done that before. Like, you're getting ready to buy your house, right? Or your car, and you're like, okay, do I really want to press the button here and accept, the transaction? And you know what I'm saying? It's just, we're at that moment right now. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
Full Ross, thank you for the $4.99. Says, go get Clint Kubiak or Nate Scheelhaas. Light will make the right moves. He's still one of the best GMs in the NFL.
I don't see Scheelhaas being in play at all. I'm just not a fan of Clint Kubiak. I don't think he has the energy necessary to be a head coach. Maybe I'm wrong. Kyle Shanahan's not the most energetic guy, so maybe I'm wrong there. Scheelhaas, the problem is he has 1 year's worth of play calling experience at Iowa State, and he's never been a head coach anywhere else. And that's the problem with a lot of guys in this cycle. So many Zach Taylors, Matt LaFleur's, Sean McVay's, Zach, like all these guys, Andy Reid, they're all play calling head coaches. And so, Ben Johnson in Chicago, Declan Doyle's an up and comer. He's never called plays before. He's an offensive coordinator in title only. Grant Udinski, 29-year-old guy, just like Declan Doyle, well thought of in Jacksonville. Problem is, Liam Cohen calls the plays. You can't sit there and bring in somebody that has never called plays before and sell your team on this, because they're going to say, what has Declan Doyle done? Well, he helped Ben Johnson last year, right? And then he helped Sean Payton before that. Well, what did Grant Udinski do? Well, Grant helped Liam Cohen this year. And then he helped Kevin O'Connell before that, okay? Because guess what? Josh Grizzard helped Liam Cohen last year.
That he did.
Okay? I'm just saying. It's one thing to do that as an offensive coordinator, to bring in a Josh Grizzard or Dave Canales. But to do that as a head coach, the Glazers have tried that before. Raheem Morris didn't work out. Raheem never called plays before. Raheem was never head coach before. We went 3-13. They went 10 wins the next year with smoke and mirrors. And then 4-12 the next year, and he was gone.
Zachariah Tollison, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, "Go Panthers, NFC South champs." Not sure if you're actually a Panthers fan or was just rooting for the Bucs to not make the postseason, but either way, thanks for the super chat.
Congrats, Dave Canales.
Yeah,
won enough games to make it happen.
JBE Bucs fan, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says Bowles needs to get third prize, as T-Kraz would say. Shout out T-Kraz. Seminole Boy, thanks for the $5 super chat. We appreciate it. 02RR, appreciate the $4.99. Says, not excusing the Bucs for their failures, but I hate the Falcons even more now. One thing we do know is it's going to be an interesting offseason. Yes, there's going to be a lot of moves on the coaching staff. We'll see how the Bucs attack free agency. Yep. We'll see what's going on with the draft this year. There will be a lot going on in the offseason, and Pewter Report will be covering it all.
Yep. Just want to let everybody know, too, we've had a flurry of new Pewter Report TV channel members sign up over this past couple of shows. Greatly appreciate everybody who has signed up already, whether you're a longtime channel member or you're a newbie. Greatly appreciate it. Real quick little pitch here. We would love to have our membership level grow because nobody covers the Bucs offseason like Pewter Report. We're going to be covering every single one of these coaching moves and new hires, and we're going to be going to the Senior Bowl at the end of this month and doing podcasts and stories on location there. So we dive into our draft coverage. We'll have a mock draft coming out within the next 2 weeks. Then we will go to Indianapolis at the end of February, early part of March for the NFL Scouting Combine. And all of our travel budget comes from our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel revenue. So think of it as an investment in your own fandom. You like listening to the Pewter Report podcast? Great. You like reading our stories at PewterReport.com? That's awesome. When you become a Pewter Report TV channel member, it's not just Matt and I going on location. We bring Bailey, we bring Adam, we bring Josh, we bring our photographers, right? And it costs some money to travel. But thanks to you and your support, we are able to do that. And the more reporters we bring, we find the best coverage we get. And so it's all going to go right back to you and your eyeballs that you read with our stories and your ears and your eyes where you watch and listen to our podcast. So if you can, please take the time to subscribe, hit the join button on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. Find the membership level that fits your budget the best. I will say our Pewter Premier and Platinum members, they have access to our extra bonus podcast, our Pewter Insider podcast. I think it's some of the best work we do each week, if we're being honest. Matt and I do the show Fridays at 1:30, and it's not a throwaway, an extra B-side podcast. No, it's some of the best content we have. And we share some inside stuff too. And it's more of a compact audience because we have, 100 plus members that have access to that. And we get to every single question and every single comment we put up on the screen and address them. So it's a very intimate setting. It's kind of like having Matt and I for an hour or so asking us direct questions, and we don't pass up anybody's comments. So for that reason alone, not to mention the emojis and the badges and all the fun things you get, that's worth subscribing and being at least a Pewter Premier or a Pewter Platinum member. So thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. Laura Lucas, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says Glazers willing to sit in Ray J by themselves while surrounded by opposing teams' fans, just so their friend has a job. You definitely don't like when the opposing fans are there. Stuck with Green, thank you for the $4.99. Says fire every coach except the O-line coach. Every defensive player who got big money under Bowles disappears or gets worse, except for Levante David.
I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, Winfield got the extension, hasn't played at an all-pro level. Zion got the extension, had the worst year of his career since being a rookie. Hassan Reddick didn't work out. Might be onto something.
Yeah.
SRQ Salt, thank you for the $4.99. Says Schefter reference NFL ownership sources. As SR knows, Glazers are tight-lipped. No way they are tipping their hand to the league. No.
I agree with that. I think a lot of what we heard from the national media is speculation.
Stubby Ryan, thank you for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 12 months. Says the coaches suck, yada, yada, yada. What players, though, need to be cut, traded, or benched? A lot of this is on them, too. Looking at you, 88 isotoners. It's funny because Kate
Played
Otten
well last night.
was the best player on offense. But,
That's right.
yeah, I would definitely look into a major upgrade at tight end. I mean, offensively, I don't know what else they could really do. I mean, the offensive line, yes, Graham Barton has struggled at center. We're all fighting the good fight of trying to get him to guard, but the Bucs want to stand pat with that. Maybe a different coaching staff thinks different about it. It's really, to me, like what personnel changes on the defensive side. You could certainly, I mean, they definitely need new edge rushers to complement Yaya Diaby and make Yaya a second string outside linebacker and not the top guy. So edge rushers definitely there. Definitely new looks at inside linebacker. Even the D, really everywhere on defense. But those are the first ones that stand out. John Dick Dingle Jr., thank you for the $1.99 super chat, says, looks like pick number 14. Excited, LOL. Oregon tight end first. That guy is dope. Sadiq, I believe his last name is.
Sadiq, yeah, he's a good player. Really good player.
Yeah.
I'll say this: just get a Pro Bowl player. I don't care what position. Just get somebody who is like elite. And I don't care if it's tight end, edge rusher, linebacker, cornerback. I don't care. Get an elite player.
James Morgan, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Eugene Barut, thank you for the $1.99. Says last two offensive coordinators of the Bucs are in the playoffs currently. Yes, and that's a terrible, terrible look for Tampa Bay.
Sure is.
Matt Go Canes, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says thanks for the great coverage this year, PR crew. Thank you very much, Matt. And
thank you.
Go Canes means your support and fandom of the Miami Hurricanes. Good luck to you in their next game.
Big fan of that defensive front, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I love that defensive front.
They are physical and push people around and dominate the trenches. Mr. King 03, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, yeah, I figured. Seems like they really loved Todd. I think fans are out of touch with how leadership views Todd.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. Like the Glazers have a relationship with Todd Bowles. Fans don't have a relationship with either the Glazers or Todd Bowles. I mean, not all of them.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that makes it tougher. Mopar Buck, thank you for the $9.99. Says, what does 7 or 8 wins matter in Bowles keeping his job? He's not even capable of sweeping a bad division.
Yeah.
Why is there a hot seat conversation? We're way too comfortable with 8-9 win seasons. LOL. Insane.
I'm with you. You're preaching to the choir. I think he should be fired. I
agree too, but we just don't make the decisions. But if we had it our way, he's not the head coach of the Bucs.
Yeah.
Kings are awful. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says there's very few positives to keeping Bowles. That I also agree with.
If you read my SR's Fab 5, Kings are awful on Friday, you would definitely agree with me on a lot of those things. There's a lot of questions that point to why Bowles shouldn't be back. So we're speaking the same language.
Chosen One PR23, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says they will do it for John Gruden, who has said that he would love to coach the Bucs again.
Yeah.
Where'd you say that?
Yeah, I mean, John looked at my face and told me he would love to coach Baker Mayfield, right? And now John is also full of hyperbole as well. I love John. I do. There's a part of me that I would love to see that happen. I don't know how well it would work out, but I would pay tickets to go to the circus to be entertained.
Yeah.
Right.
Circus actually was in Tampa today. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The problem is it usually doesn't work out well when you go back for reclaimed glory, right? It didn't work out for Joe Gibbs the second stint with the Redskins. Even looking at John Gruden, it didn't work out the second time he went back to the Raiders. Okay, his best record in 4 years was 8-8 with the Raiders. So I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, sometimes you can't replicate.
Yeah, the success,
the all-time moment. Yeah. So
And I love John. He's my favorite coach I've ever covered. There's a part of me that, like, if the Glazers said we're doing this, I'd be like, sure, why not? I'm in. Let's see how this works out. I would support it for sure. Would I necessarily campaign for it or champion it? No, not necessarily, unless I know for a fact that Jason Light would have complete say-so over personnel and not let John pick players, because John drafted one Pro Bowler in 7 years. One, Davin Joseph. And then, of course, if John doesn't get to pick the players, then he gets pissed. So that probably wouldn't work out too well for Jason Light and John Gruden butting heads, unless John's changed, which I don't know.
Trey Alderson Cloutier, thanks for the $4.99. Says players like Bowles, because he's their friend, not their coach. Soft practices, terrible game decisions, not getting the best from your players. Fire.
I think there's something
too many walkthroughs this year. Too many walkthroughs.
Yep. I think there's something to that.
Stuck with green. Thanks for the.
And I tell you, the players loved Raheem Morris too. They loved him, even when they were losing 10 straight games at the end of the season. They loved Raheem. So yeah.
Yeah, and they stunk even more.
That's right.
Stuck with green. Thank you for the $9.99. Says cheering for Cohen and the Jags to win the Super Bowl. Look what he's done for Trevor. Need a coach that pairs well with B6. Bowles and Baker. Bowles and Grizz aren't it. The first read on a Grizz pass play is never open.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baker did hold the ball a lot more this year.
I'm rooting for the Jaguars. I appreciate Liam, what he's done as a coach. I'm rooting for Canales and the Panthers now that the Bucs are out of it. I think they're both good guys, and I want to see how well they do.
Yeah, it's been fun to cover them.
Yep.
Justin M. Larson, thank you for this $10 super chat. Says, need to hit big money in free agency and overall front seven, possibly trade first-round pick to get a star to make a difference on the defense. Lack of discipline and fundamentals on defense is terrible. Yes, and that was exploited on the deep ball to McMillan in yesterday's game. It helped the Bucs. I mean, the Bucs still won, but they almost blew it because of that.
That's right.
Perimeter Blocker, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, please delve into the Gruden situation.
I don't know. I don't know what the Gruden situation is. John wants to get back into coaching. Does he necessarily want to do that in Tampa? Well, he lives in Tampa, so I can understand why he would want to maybe stay in Tampa. He loves the Buccaneers. He loves Baker Mayfield. I think he could do a good job here if there were some parameters. But he's also, he's not a spring chicken anymore either. Has the game passed him by? I wasn't crazy about the outcomes in Oakland and Las Vegas. John's 62. Todd Bowles' age, right? He can pick some assistants now. He'll have a good staff, but I don't know. We'll see. Would he want to come back and risk tarnishing his legacy here, like he did with the Raiders? I'm not sure. Would the Glazers? Would the Glazers want this back in time moment? They kind of tried that with Lovie Smith. That didn't work out. If it doesn't work, you really have egg on your face. I don't know. Sometimes it's just best to let history just rest and look back fondly at it.
Yeah, and then come back to Ray J, get cheered by the fans, and leave it at that.
Yeah. At this stage, he's always the hero, right? And you risk being the villain if you come back and it doesn't work out.
Mike Wells, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, Matt and SR and all the craziness, just want to thank you guys and the whole Pewter Report team. Us as fans have the best team walking us through the season. Thank you very much for the kind words. Really we appreciate it. It helps talking to all you great fans, especially when the Bucs played as bad as they did in the last month of the season. Yep. But, like I said before, the coverage does not stop. We just pivot to off season. There's going to be a lot of coaching news, free agency, the draft, all of that stuff. It's just a different phase of I know the calendar kind of starts again because we're in January, but a different phase of the season for covering the Bucs. But thank you. Yep. Josh Connor, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, why would y'all think the Glazers / Jason Light keep Bowles?
I
They
wouldn't.
like the person.
I don't think Matt would either. But it's where we are. We're not. It's Matera and Reynolds, not Glazer or Light, right? So
Mike Wells, thanks for the 1999, says Jason Light also needs a serious talking with as well. The thrift store shopping isn't working, and also refusing to draft players with so much as a parking ticket at a position of need isn't working.
yeah. Last time I checked, James Pierce had 10.5 sacks. He got a couple more today, and he was a player that I don't think was really on their draft board because of character issues. So I don't know. Pierce is a pretty good pass rusher.
Yeah, and Jason's drafted a lot of good players, but he hasn't drafted a true superstar. And someone brought this up on the show yesterday.
Yeah,
hasn't drafted a new Pro Bowl player since Wirfs and Winfield in 2020.
That's right.
We're representing the Bucs again. He hasn't drafted a star in a while.
Yep,
and that needs to be adjusted.
Agreed.
Just Fitz, thanks for the $5, says, do you think Light has learned his lesson about valuing character above all else? This current team would not have drafted Sapp or brought in Simeon Rice.
Somebody might have already made that comment to the powers that be. Not going to say who. Not going to name names.
Who could it be?
Who could it be? He might be hosting this podcast right now.
Yeah.
And I think there's more and more people in the building that are kind of agreeing with me that you need to find the Sapp, the JPP, the Ndamukong Suh, the fire starter, the ass kicker, the guy that will hold people accountable, the guy that will cause some friction in a good way. Not the turds, not the Chris Bakers, not the Deshaun Jackson,
sure, there's
pouty little bitches.
There is a fine line,
right? It's getting guys that are like Sapp, like we don't want to win, we will win. There's
right?
Difference.
Mook Tattoo, thank you for the $1.99, says Grizz is the biggest reason why this team failed.
Down the stretch, it wasn't pretty. All these weapons, all healthy, and 10 points against the Dolphins until the garbage time touchdown. 16 points yesterday. Yeah. You're leaving a lot of points out there on the field.
Stuck with Green, thanks for the $1.99, says Rachaad White going to Chiefs, Jags, or Panthers with the heartbreak. I'd throw the Commanders in there too. He loves Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. I think that would be, he would love to play with Jaden again. Just they're best friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does seem like Rachaad White's gone.
Definitely agree.
SRQ Salt, thanks for the $4.99. 10+ club seat ticket holder. According to Brian Glazer, I'm a shareholder.
Oh.
I look forward to receiving my proxy statement to cast my vote.
Okay.
Hey,
good.
You buy the tickets, you pay their salary. So
yeah,
should have something to say.
Yeah, I wonder if I could trade in. Wonder if I could trade in my 30 jersey back to the team and say, can I trade in this for a vote too? Give me a vote.
Mike Wells, thank you for the 1999 super chat, says, if Todd stays, guys, I don't know how the Glazers sell to the fans. Todd refuses to make coaching changes and will not call out the players when they earn it.
Yep.
I mean, when they think about this decision, how do they sell it?
I agree.
I think that's big with Todd too, is like he didn't give up on the season, but he certainly gave up on finding answers to say to the media. And it's not his job to like win press conferences with the media.
I mean, he had a layup. You fire Thomas McGahee, you shake it up, right?
Yeah.
Like that's easy.
Rams did it.
Keith Tandy, you're in charge of special teams now. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore, right? Get people's attention, Fire him on a Wednesday. Like he just doesn't go out to practice. Well, where's T-Mac? He's gone. I sent his ass home. For the day? Yeah. No, he's done. This is Keith Tandy's special teams to run now, right? Like Bruce Arians would have done that. Bruce Arians cut Vernon Hargraves after the Cardinals game in 2019 because he loafed. This was Jason Light's first-round draft pick. Bruce said, I want him gone. Gone. We're not putting up with loafing anymore. You don't think that sent a signal, a message, And then for Bowles to sit there and say, well, I didn't see enough to where I would make a change. What games were you watching, Todd?
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Even to the last game of the season, there are special teams issues.
Yeah.
The last game of the year, There's special teams issues all season long, and nothing
I know
was done. Beats McGee, thanks for the $5, says, if Todd is here, I can see Josh getting another year.
I think that
Fully
probably
healthy O-line will help. The main issue is defense. Need 4 new defensive coaches and 5 to 6 defensive players.
It's a heavy lift. And again, I agree. I think Todd would probably want Josh just for the sake of continuity, to stay on. And could Josh Grizzard be better in year 2? Yes. Do I really want to find out? I don't know. It's
Mike
dangerous.
Wells,
That's a dangerous decision.
Says it really stings seeing Dave and Liam do what they did this year after taking over total dumpster fires with crap owners and to turn them around. Yeah, a lot of quick fixes for 2 of those teams. And they're both in the postseason, and the Bucs will be watching them. So
Dave gets hired by a 2-win Jaguars team, wins 5 games, then wins 3 more to get to 8 to win the division. Liam took over a 4-13 Jaguars team and flipped it. Flipped it to 13-4. That's Coach of the Year stuff right there.
Yeah. Anthony Azarada, thank you for the $1.99, says, what do you guys think of McCarthy? Bowles out. Yeah, we spoke about this on the Pewter Insider on Friday. I think Mike McCarthy should get more credit than he does get. Especially, like, he won a Super Bowl and everyone will say, well, he had Aaron Rodgers, but he won a lot of games with Dallas. I think Mike McCarthy, I don't think he's a fit for the Bucs because he's more of a guy that should come in and help a team that needs to completely rebuild. Like, I actually think he could be a solid fit for, like, the Raiders, Tennessee as well. I think he's a better fit there than a team that kind of is in a win now mode type of situation. So I don't think McCarthy's a good fit for the Bucs, but I do think he probably deserves another shot as a head coach.
I agree.
Josh Weiss, thanks for the $4.99. If Bowles is fired, what is the percentage we go established NFL route like Kubiak versus college, Smart or Lanning? If the college route, who is their favorite fit? Another thing we talked about on the Pewter Insider. You would love Kirby Smart. I would really like Dan Lanning. So wouldn't hate if they went the college route.
Totally agree. And we keep referencing this Pewter Insider where we did a whole show on possible coaching candidates to replace Bowles. If you want access to that, it's up on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. All you have to do is become a Pewter Premier or Platinum member, and you can watch that episode or any of the episodes that we've already done, and then future episodes as well.
Delgado, thanks for the $4.99. You guys remember Todd said he realized something with his defense during the offseason. Wonder what he thought he saw. Yeah.
I'm going to ask him tomorrow at 3:30 if he does a press conference. I'm going to ask him what his eureka moment was. I don't know if he's going to tell us, but I'm going to ask him.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Benbow Sports, thanks for the $2 super chat, says 2026 opponents. Hello from the UK.
Yeah.
Fire Todd Bowles. Hey, we talked about it before, but they're 2026 opponents at home. Packers, Vikings, Browns, Steelers, Falcons, Saints, Panthers, and then wherever they finish in the – so the Bucs are what? Second in the division?
Yeah.
So they'll play second place in the NFC West, second place in the AFC West.
Yep.
And then – their road games. So pretty much they play the NFC North and the AFC North as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their road games are Bears, Lions, Ravens, Bengals, divisional opponents once again. And then it will be the Cowboys as they are second place in the NFC East.
Yep.
Brandon Eubanks, thanks for the $1.99, says he lost the players. The collapse was personal.
I don't think so. They won last night.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think he lost the players.
Jason Oliver, thanks for the $1.99. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thomas Moore, thank you for the $4.99. Would the Glazers trade for a coach? Example, Tomlin, Harbaugh. They did it before.
Yeah. I don't think Jason Light would necessarily want that because he likes those draft picks. And he's like, hey, guys, we need draft picks.
Yeah.
We need a coach, but we also need draft picks to get some more talent on this team. So, Would the Glazers be open to it? I think they would, depending on the right guy
Yeah.
and right compensation. Sean Payton was the last coach that was traded for, so it's been done recently.
They technically had to trade for Bruce Arians as well. So every time they've
That's right.
traded for a head coach, they've won a Super Bowl.
That's
So,
a good point. Yeah.
Maybe that's the recipe. Just
Yeah.
trade for a coach and win. The Real Maverick, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, in the end, loyalty and stubbornness to make changes will cost Todd his job. This team has too much talent to be 8-9 coaching. Is subpar, talent underdeveloped. That is a big issue for this team, is that they just completely did not develop the talent that they had on this team. And that was the selling point of Jason Light is, hey, we're going to build through the draft. We're not going to give up our draft picks. We won't spend it on getting a premier edge rusher because we're going to draft players and our coaching staff will develop them. And Light has a good point when Bucky Irving comes out of the gates firing on all cylinders as a great running back, makes the all-rookie team. You can do that when players are performing pretty well, but we didn't see the development from these guys as the season went on. So I totally agree with you, the Real Maverick, in terms of not developing the overall talent. And then, yeah, sometimes Todd Bowles has been too loyal. Mopar Buck, thank you for the 1999 super chat, says, also, we need Jason Light to be on the hot seat. His drafting on the defensive side has been bad. What's wrong with just getting the guy instead of thinking there's a diamond in project players? Just draft the damn guy, a.k.a. dogs.
Yeah, they need some dogs. There's no doubt about it. They need some ass kickers, some alphas, for sure.
T-Level has been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 14 months. Thank you so much. Says, I meant Mike McDaniel for offensive coordinator.
Oh, I think, yeah, not Josh McDaniel.
Yeah. Well, before he was talking about Josh McDaniel. I think he's talking about the Dolphins head coach.
Correct, yeah.
Mike McDaniel. That I could be on board for because he'd go from head coach to offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I agree.
SRQ Salt, thanks for the $4.99, says, if Browns fire Stefanski, I'd hire him as a coordinator, pay him head coaching money, and name him head coach in waiting in 2027 or, if needed, in season in 2026. I think Stefanski's going to get looks for head coach.
I agree.
In other spots. He's a two-time coach of the year.
Yeah.
The Browns are a complete mess overall. I don't know how Baker would feel about it because I believe he was there when Stefanski was there. And so, that could change things. But ultimately, if it helps the team win, I think Baker's on board for it.
Mm-hmm.
Jet999, thanks for the $2.99 super chat, says, what about Dan Lanning, especially if he wins the college football championship? I'm all in for Dan Lanning. He's a great motivator. He's young. He can relate to players, has his guys ready to play, and bounce on offense and defense.
Yeah, part of that Kirby Smart coaching tree at Georgia.
That's right. Sam Fisher, thanks for the $5. The way I see it, Light has hit on half-true coaching hires. Dirk and BA, let him find the next one to lead in a true coaching search.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trust Jason Light enough.
I do too.
Luke, thanks for the $2 super chat. If McGahee is here next season, call SEAL Team 6. Yeah, he's got to be out.
Yeah,
he does.
If he's not, I will go viral when I ask Todd, what on earth allows him to keep his job? I will say it just like that. I want to know, what in the hell are you thinking keeping Thomas McGahee on as special teams coordinator? I will ask it that way. It will be uncomfortable, but I want to know, and I will ask it that way. I don't think I'm going to have to. I think he's going to be fired.
Isaac, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, if Todd is out, either by retirement or firing, who is up next? Gruden, Clint Kubiak, Kirby Smart. Everyone's on the table. And the Bucs should search far and wide.
Agreed. Yep.
For the next one.
Yep.
Ed Wamil, thank you for the $9.99. Crazy how many super chats there are in the last weeks of the season. Passionate fan base and empty seats at Ray J. Bowles has sucked the life out of the fan base. Glazers make a move like in 02.
We appreciate everybody for their super chats. I mean, you're paying for flights, you're paying for Airbnbs, you're paying for gas, you're funding our trips, and we greatly appreciate it for sure. The membership The memberships we get here, the super chats, all that money helps tremendously with our off-season coverage.
Nerd. Thanks for the $6.99 super chat. Says, thanks, fellas. Auman says Bowles is speaking to reporters at 3:30 after open locker room. If he's not retiring, he's staying, right?
Don't know. Tony
We'll
Dungy
see.
got to speak after his last season in 2001, and then they fired him later that night. So, don't know.
Seminole Boy, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says accountability to the fan base is the lesson coming to this organization soon. It's going to be a lot of unhappy people if Todd Bowles stays.
I agree.
Jordan Peters, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says if Bowles is fired, I assume we would want an offensive-minded head coach. However, to fix the defense, would Brandon Staley be a viable option?
I mean, he's the Saints defensive coordinator now, so you're talking about him being the head coach of the Buccaneers. Listen, I'm not opposed to them getting a defensive-minded head coach. The defense has a lot more wrong with it than the offense does.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and like we've thrown out there before, this premise, and we've said it on the Pewter Insider and all this. If you get someone like Chris Shula, the defensive coordinator from the Rams, he's young. A lot of people are saying he is the defensive equivalent of Sean McVay, but just from the defensive side. Both he and McVay were teammates at Miami of Ohio. He was a linebacker for the Red Hawks. So he played with McVay. He's been a part of that coaching staff since 2017. Highly regarded. He's coached everything from secondary to inside linebackers, outside linebackers, pass rush, pass game coordinator on the defensive side. He's called the defense the last 2 years. Now, who'd you get as an offensive coordinator? Well, maybe you bring Nate Schilhaas with him from the Rams. And then as McVay continues to call plays out in L.A., and if Schilhaas eventually pulls a Liam Cohen and gets a head coaching job, then you just keep reaching out in L.A. and you keep grabbing the next pass game coordinator, the next offensive coordinator, like Mike LaFleur, the next quarterbacks coach. You just keep grabbing those guys, and you keep that pipeline going from the Rams to the Buccaneers. You keep that Rams offense here in Tampa, so there's continuity. You're just plugging in different play callers. So that might be the way, right? I mean, Kevin O'Connell came from the Rams. Liam Cohen came from the Rams. Zach Robinson with the Falcons came from the Rams. That would be a nice 1-2 punch, I think. Get Chris Shula, get Nate Schilhaas here as your head coach and / defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator.
Big Poppy Senpai, thank you for the $2. Says Mike McDaniel as Bucs' new OC. If Dolphins fire him, I'm definitely open to it.
Yeah, me too.
I think it should be considered.
Yep.
MDH 401, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. We appreciate it. Thank you to Edwin Mill for becoming a Pewter Report YouTube channel member.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you to JBE Bucs fan for becoming a Pewter Report YouTube channel member. That is awesome to see. And thank you for your support. Sashley, thank you for this 1999. Says Liam came here from college ball and he's killing it. What head coaching candidates from college would be on your radar? Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning.
Yeah, those are the top two for sure.
Buck Guy 89. Oh my God, that picture. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, too turtley to be our head coach anymore. Gone. Get. Fantastic cover photo. As Scott coined yesterday, Turtle Todd, Turtley Todd.
Yeah.
Way to be topical. MDH, thank you for the $4.99. Says, why didn't Grizzard have our top 4 receivers on the field at the same time? Seemed like he would split them in packages, and it pissed me off.
Yeah, I understand yesterday because the weather, you want to run the ball, and it worked. They got 140 yards on the ground, and they got the win. They converted over half of their third down conversions. They went with a lot of 12 personnel and even 11. They didn't go with 4 wides. Maybe they would have if it wouldn't been such a wet surface, but yeah.
Note, thanks for the $4.99. Says Cohen ended with 13 wins. I said last year, if we don't make the move, we will fall off on offense and still be bad on defense. A lot of people wanted Liam Cohen to be the head coach of the Bucs, and they wanted Tampa Bay to move on from Todd Bowles.
Yeah,
looked like it would have been the right move.
Yeah,
and
now what type of head coach would they be looking for? Well, they'd be looking for a Liam Cohen.
Yeah, they're looking for a Liam Cohen type.
Yeah,
for sure. Kyle Miller, thanks for the $4.99. Says, God bless Pewter Report. Love y'all. Looking forward to the off-season coverage. Thank you so much, Kyle. It's very nice of you
Thank you
to say. We appreciate it. That six guy, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, trade for either Crosby or sign Hendrickson this offseason. I wouldn't go near Trey Hendrickson. The hip injury concerns me, but I'm all in on Max Crosby, definitely.
Yeah. I would do Trey Hendrickson like a really reduced deal.
Sure, yeah.
Just because you might get Joey Bosa like the Buffalo Bills got, right? Where like he kind of has that one little last hurrah. But yeah, long-term deal at his age. What have we said, Matt? Age 31 is where the wheels usually fall off the wagon for pass rushers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's kind of where he's at right now.
Drevel, thanks for the $5 super chat, says strength and conditioning needs to be looked into. Too many injuries to start the season on top of questionable play decisions. Not enough fight.
You're not wrong.
I don't know. We've talked about strength and conditioning before. I don't know what they can do when Mike Evans breaks his collarbone on a freak play, or some of the injuries Baker has had, or Bucky. It's a physical game. Concussions. That's not on the on the strength and conditioning staff either. So stuck with Green. Thanks for the $1.99. Says not a coincidence we win 2 Super Bowls with Sapp and Sue.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the attitude conversation.
Yep.
S. White, thank you for the $1.99. Says keep pounding. They're happy about a Panthers win.
Yep.
Jed 9999, thanks for the $2.99. How about Oregon's young Dan Lanning? All for it.
Me too.
Meets McGee, thank you for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 12 months.
Thank you.
Says, gosh darn, if Jason Light not 100% successful on his draft.
Yeah,
I mean, have a good one.
He's drafted starters, but not stars. That's kind of what we've been saying here for several months now, and he needs to find some stars. Star search time.
Yeah. Couple more YouTube channel members joining us. Jonas Garea, thank you so much.
Appreciate
and
it.
RJ Beasley.
Thank you.
Thank you so much as well. Love
if you haven't joined yet, join the Pewter Report TV YouTube channel and find a membership level that fits your budget. You won't regret it. And especially if you're a Pewter Premier or Platinum member, you're going to have access to the Pewter Insider shows, some of the best podcasts we do. If you love the podcast, we're going to do 4 of them free during the week, but then that 5th one is for our Pewter Platinum and Premier members, and it's some of our best work each week.
FLTB, thanks for the $1.99. Bowles will probably retire.
That would be great. That would be great.
Sure. I'll believe it when it happens.
Yep.
SRQ Salt, thank you for the $4.99. Says, SR, I go back to Buccaneer Magazine. I want to thank you, Maddie, and the staff for the insight and coverage. Venting on Pewter Report TV has been therapeutic.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate those kind words. And partially why we're here is to answer your venting frustrations.
Yep.
Tate Miller, thank you for the $4.99. Says, want an edge rusher, but should love Sadiq too. From my hometown and played against him in high school.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. How much did he ball out in high school?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you always hear those crazy stats from Derrick Henry. He had like 600 yards in a game and 10 touchdowns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, West Point 1999. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says, has there been anyone who has defended Todd Bowles? I feel it is unanimous in the fan base. Understood, we don't get an official vote, but I hope the ownership is listening.
We did a poll on Pewter Report after the Dolphins game that had over 2,100 respondents. Now, you might say that's not a lot, but when they do public opinion polls for political candidates and all that stuff, they poll 1,000 people across the country, right? So we had twice that, and 90% said that it's time to move on from Todd Bowles. 90%. So
yeah. There was 1 or 2 people on the show, I want to say yesterday, that were not all the way defending Todd Bowles, but making some cases for him. So there are a few out there, but definitely a lot more wanting Bowles no longer as the head coach. A-Train, thank you for the $4.99. Says, haven't we watched enough football to know when a change is warranted? Haven't felt this way since 2019. It's time. Great coverage,
Yeah.
great year, Pewter Report. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. And yes, many fans feel the same way
Yeah.
that you do. Grinda 813. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says there's no way this is not on many people, but Light should have never let Cohen walk. Grizzard is horrible. Baker should have let Teddy play because he was hurt end of the year and sat 4 weeks. We lost anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the problem was how Liam kind of conducted himself at the very end. That kind of soured everybody on Liam pretty quickly. It's one thing to take the job. It's another way to kind of do it the way he did, which I think he has some regrets about how it went down. But it was hard to if you're Jason Light, it's hard to sit there and say, hey, no, like we should hire this guy, even though he kind of went underhanded and snuck off to Jacksonville and told us that he wasn't in Jacksonville when he actually was. That would have been a tough sell for the Glazers, and they love Todd Bowles. I mean, Todd Bowles just won 10 games, so they weren't ready to fire him.
A-Train, thank you for the $4.99, says, wouldn't mind a defensive coordinator as a head coach. Problem is, if you have a good offensive coordinator, they'll keep getting poached. Shiny new toy. You have a better chance keeping a defensive coordinator longer.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I kind of like that theory of if you get Shula from the Rams, then he keeps just plucking people from. You use the Rams as your farm team for offensive coordinators. Yeah. Whoever Sean McVay hires, you're going to have your pick because the quarterback's coach doesn't call plays. The offensive coordinator, which is Mike LaFleur right now, doesn't call plays. The pass game coordinator, who is Nate Schilhaus right now, he doesn't call plays. So any of those guys you could pluck and make them your play caller here, and they're already rooted in the Rams offense, just like Liam Cohen was.
Paul Morales, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says, really like this Chris Shula idea.
See what happens. He's going to be in demand.
Yeah, could be on to something. Cody Jackson, thank you for the $20 super chat, says, team building, coaching aside, how do you afford new linebackers and new rushers while you pay Chris and Mike $20 million? I hate to say it, but if you don't get an offensive head coach, you can't keep both. Am I wrong?
Well, I think Mike probably comes back for less than $20 million. I think he comes back for probably 17. And then with Chris, you can restructure that, right? And kind of massage the cap a little bit, for a year. So, you're going to have, you can create enough cap room. Mike Greenberg's the best at it for sure.
CJ, thank you for the $1.99 super chat, says, how's our cap looking to get any great free agents?
Well, right now, according to Over the Cap, the Bucs have $37 million in cap space for the 2026 season. That's just right now, but keep in mind they can do a lot. If Mike Evans returns, he has $13 million in dead cap money that they can reduce that and then add on like another year plus a void year, right? So they can spread that out. Vita Vea is entering the last year of his contract. You can extend him if you want. He's set to make $22.1 million, right? So you can tack on another year and reduce that cap number as well. Chris Godwin, his cap value next year is $33.6 million. Yikes, right? But you can massage that too. Tristan Wirfs is also making $36.3 million. Antoine Winfield Jr., $27.4. So just those salaries alone, Evans, Vea, Godwin, Wirfs, and Winfield, you can probably, and I'm not Josh Capo, but you could probably come up with another $20 to $30 million if you need it by just pushing some of that money, into future years. Kicking the can down the road. Everybody does it, and the Bucs are not the exception. So,
yeah. Black 3334. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. We appreciate it. Mars, thanks for the $5 super chat, says Rashad White posted on his Instagram story that he's leaving the team. Is this brand new news? Pewter Report. He's a free agent, and now the season's done. So, I mean, I don't know why Rashad White would want to come back. You
Yeah.
know, the Bucs clearly just lean on Bucky Irving when he's there, so he wants more opportunities. It makes sense. Now, never say
Can't blame
never,
him.
but I wouldn't be surprised if Rashad White's not back.
Yeah.
Adam Gonzalez, thanks for the $5 super chat, says David is retiring. We need to get rid of Bowles and overhaul the entire defense.
I think it needs to be overhauled. The scheme, the play calling, all it needs to be overhauled.
T. Millatron, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, will David Walker be enough to go elsewhere?
Nope.
In the first.
Nope.
No, can't rely on him. Didn't even get to a fully padded practice.
That's right.
In training camp.
Yeah. If there's the right edge rusher there, you take him. You know, if that's the best guy, you go get him in the first round.
KGSVV 1975, thanks for the $5 super chat, says Bowles here since 2019. Bowles should retire for his own sake / sanity, like BA, assure the legacy of a great defense and Super Bowl victory.
I would applaud that. I'd love to hear Todd Bowles retire tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But,
and they say time heals all wounds. I think in a couple of years, people will appreciate Todd for what he did calling the defense and several division titles too.
Right.
Will it be with an asterisk of bad NFC South? Yeah.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean you can't appreciate it.
Yep.
Ben Kelly, thank you for the $5, says SR is right. Appreciate hindsight, says we should have kept Cohen as head coach. If your head coach lacks integrity, any success is likely to be short-lived. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have that Marvel alternate multiverse where we can look and say, yeah, Liam Cohen would have done this year in Tampa as the head coach. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know.
CJ, thanks for the
I know he's done a good job in Jacksonville. I know that.
Yeah. CJ, thank you for the $1.99. Says, be honest, does the special teams coach have pictures on Todd?
No, but I think Todd's just too loyal. That's part of the problem.
Kings are awful. Thank you for the $2. Says Bowles thinks his scheme is good, though.
Yeah, he does. That's part of the problem.
And that's it for Super Chats. We've had a lot.
Can we create the Pewter Report multiverse? Yeah, let's have a better ending to the 2025 season, shall we? That would be a lot more fun. Piss Missile Pete says, this podcast is so long I had to shave twice. Hey, we're here for you, the Pewter people. We'll be doing this all week long. Hopefully, we will have some news that will delight and excite the fans. And there's going to be some coaching changes, whether that's at the top of Todd Bowles. We will wait and see. But we will have a podcast tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Matt and I will be at that Todd Bowles press conference at 3:30. And then we will have a show at 4 o'clock live from One Buccaneer Place. So make sure you check that out. And we'll be following the news wherever it takes us all week long.
That's
on
right.
Pewter Report TV.
So if you're not already doing so, please make sure you follow us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We're at Pewter Report. And our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video how you're feeling about the Bucs as they go into the offseason. That's it for today's show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.
Great turnout, guys. Thank you.